Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And today we're looking at Logan's Run, and boy, does this movie suck.
Also, we are the Rambling Reviewers. So here's what I try to do. I go to the library now and then, and my ideal is to find a famous movie that is in our genres that we like, that we haven't seen. And I happened to see on the shelf Logan's Run. I know that's famous for some reason. I have no idea what it's about, but I think it's a sci-fi thing. So I got it. And then we watched it. And it was really slow.
My God. Say what you will about The Last Airbender. At least shit happened. Stupid shit, but shit happened.
So I love the basic idea behind Logan's Run. The post-apocalyptic world, people live in this dome society, everything's kind of messed up, and there's this guy who hunts runners that try to run away from this whole death ritual they have. And then he himself has to become a runner, and then it turns out, because I didn't expect they would do this, he's actually assigned to act like a runner, and there's a little bit of like, oh, you don't know if he's running for his own skin, or he's doing it for the job, or it felt like they were going to go in that direction. And then it got really slow, or it was slow the whole time, I guess.
It was slow the entire time. I was bored before 5 minutes had passed.
I was okay at the beginning. I think what did it for me was the orgy scene. Which is really amazing. Think about it. As soon as they got to the orgy scene, I felt bored. This is the kind of movie they made.
They had an orgy on screen with naked people, and it was boring.
It was because he's running away from the other guys trying to hunt him, and they're like, "Oh, we'll hide in here, whatever." And it's like a big old orgy house, sort of brothel thing, except whatever. No one's paying for it. But they first run in, and it's like really slow, and there's some gas, and you're like, is he high? Is that what we're trying to get here? He's so high that he like sees everything in slow motion.
I thought there would be more running in a movie titled Logan's Run.
And then they're running around, and I'm like, look, it's just naked people, but it's so slow, like physically slow. Why is it all so slow?
Even people being pushed over, it was slow. And
I don't know what's
you
going
made
on.
nudity. You made nudity boring, Logan's Run.
Oh my God.
You made it boring. And oh my God, it was just so dull.
And then, man, I have to remember what happened next.
I'm trying not to.
I don't hate movies just for being slow, because sometimes slow it fits the plot.
Yes, precisely.
Ibanez Renmei is slow in a lot of ways, and I freaking love it. It's amazing, and it's people I love it anyway. And people go to town and shop and come back, but there's character development along the way.
And you know what also happens?
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
They talk, they interact, and it's the main character is Logan, and he's a douchebag. You see that from his first scene. Then,
well, yeah, you could get the idea of him being a bad guy at the beginning, and then he's becomes more relatable by the end, which they were trying to do that, but everything was so slow you could hardly be invested in anybody,
And then, the big-lipped alligator moment.
Of one of several, really.
No, but the best one, though. We met Box. Imagine taking a refrigerator, painting it chrome, turning it into the biggest, fakest robot you could imagine. All he ever talks about are...
protein!
No. Protein from seaweed and other, ocean stuff, like plankton and shit. And then he says, and then the people who come through here, I freeze them.
All right, let's go over this slightly more in order. Okay.
No, let's not.
So,
it's so boring.
I think I can. I'll run through it much faster than the movie ran through. Whatever. So they have this thing called renewal, and once you turn 30, you have to go to this
30.
deal.
30. You said 3.
I said whatever. 30. You go to this deal, and you fly up in the air and explode. And apparently people are under the impression that you do not die when you explode. And it was really confusing. In what way are you supposed to be still alive? Are you going to heaven? Does your, brain get implanted into a chip somewhere and they put you on a new body? I don't know. It would seem like people would just die and not come back, and people would kind of figure that out, So that was weird. Some people are runners, and they run away just before they're supposed to die. And Logan is one of the Sandmen, so he's in the business of catching them.
I don't know why they call them Sandmen. It's not really explained why they call them Sandmen.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with dreams, does he? No.
It has nothing to do with dreams. It has nothing to do with sand.
Yeah. No. I don't know, is that like a hyper-sanitized version of killing people? Like they're asleep now? But they said terminated. They didn't say we put him to sleep, so I don't even know. Okay, so then his partner kills this one guy, and Logan takes this ankh from around his neck, and he brings it to this room the next day to be analyzed, and they're like, this is a symbol of sanctuary, and basically there's this secret base outside the Dome City where all the runners go, and like over 1,000 of them have escaped, and okay, we're gonna give you this assignment.
I just looked at the DVD cover. With all the nudity we mentioned, it's rated PG.
I think that was before they invented anything else.
Yeah, point. Yeah, so they do a bunch.
So he gets assigned. You have to. First, we're gonna speed up your life clock. So you're about to, go. We're gonna kill you at the last day carousel thing. And I liked that little bit. He's like, wait, am I getting my 4 years back?
Your question has been answered.
That was a nicely creepy computer.
That was extreme. Yeah, it was good.
That one shot of that one screen, very impassive, but you felt like there was a lot of power to it.
Precisely.
It controls his whole life. There are good foundational ideas in this movie, and I just hated the execution. So you weren't sure, is he gonna wind up? Is he running just because it's his job, and he's gonna try and get his 4 years back, hopefully? Or is he going to run, for real? Is he going to convert? You thought there'd be a nice thing there. It didn't quite happen that way. So then he talks to this one girl who might know something, and she's going to lead him to be killed in the middle of a freaking crowd. And there's some guy who's like, creepy guy with a rope. Like, was you going to choke the Sandman in the middle of this crowd and no one was going to notice? I was confused.
I had stopped caring by that
Yeah,
point.
no, you were looking at your laptop half of this movie. I was tempted to. I honestly was. So then they're like, okay, we're going to go to this other section where they keep all the delinquents that are violent. Why do you guys have violent delinquents? I thought you would just shoot them like you shoot everybody when you feel like it.
Yeah, and also, in addition to that, if they're living in a dome city and there's and they need to kill 30 people every day in order to keep the population down, you'd think that the juvenile delinquents would be the first to go, since they're not contributing anything to society.
Yeah.
And they're, uncontrollable criminals who live in the shittiest part of the city.
Right. There's also confusion of what the colors meant. I got the impression is red is you have a few years left, and green comes before red, and then something comes before green, because they were telling these delinquents, what happens when you turn green? And I guess, I don't know.
I thought it was blue, then green, then yellow, then red.
Was that it? All right, maybe that's it.
Yeah. Well, that was the order of the colors on the wall.
I didn't even pay attention.
I tried not to, but, some stuff slips through.
Some stuff slips through. You're like a bored Sherlock, like noticing details. Oh, yeah, there are colors on the wall.
I'd love to see a Sherlock Holmes that just doesn't give a crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy did the murder, whatever. Pass the chips, Watson.
So then she takes him down to the secret base. Well, no, he goes to get a new face for some reason. I'm not sure why. The doctor there decides to kill him. It's like
for some reason.
Because he's a Sandman, I guess. And then he ends up killing the doctor. And then they all run off. And then his old buddy from Sandmanville is trying to kill him now, potentially. And the girl, Jessica, takes him to this secret base sort of thing under the city, where there's a bunch of people with spears that shoot mist at you for some reason.
And the mist hurts.
The mist hurts,
and the spears also glow at the tips.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of people with Halloween costumes.
Now, these people know the way to Sanctuary, the secret base outside. And they say, here's what you do. You go to this one place, you go down these stairs, and then you need to use your ankh as a key, and then you cannot turn back after there. But trust us, beyond that gate is Sanctuary. Which makes me wonder why all the people with the spears are still standing around with spears when they apparently could go to Sanctuary. I mean, they think it's real, right? It turns out not to be, but they think it's real. What are you standing around for? Where do you get these ankhs anyway?
And how do they know Sanctuary's there? I mean, we see from the next scene, they eventually enter Box's cave.
Right.
Where it's full of ice and crazy.
I get that, there's a rumor about Sanctuary.
They should have gone further, seen that there's no Sanctuary, and seen that Box is freezing the shit out of people, gone back and said, yeah, there's no Sanctuary, just a crazy fucking robot that serves no purpose in the movie other than being weird and futuristic.
Right. I guess the door is a one-way thing, because they mentioned, you cannot come back afterwards. But who built this door? And why does it run on ankhs? And where do you get the ankhs? And
what was the point of the ankhs? The ankhs are an Egyptian symbol.
I mean, I could totally get symbols being appropriated in weird ways in the far future.
But there's no...
Yeah, I know.
There's no way, like...
You want it to connect better.
I mean...
You know what would make sense if it was an eagle, because they're right outside Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so they have to be somewhere in Maryland.
Right, yeah, or whatever. So, okay, I don't know where any of this stuff came from. A lot of it was just slow walking. We're walking down this hall, we're walking down that hall.
And then they went to Washington, D.C. because...
Well, again, slightly in order. They get to... it's full of ice. They get to the outside, and there's all ice everywhere. And they're like, we should take off our clothes. Which, granted, their clothes were wet. But they put them on again like 5 minutes later. So, what the frick? I don't know. But there was like, wait, look, more nudity. I think they were just trying to throw that in there. How much nudity can we get in this place? I don't know. And then Box shows up, and he's a craptastic robot, and looks like you could push him over, and I don't get what his deal is at all. And then apparently he's in the business of freezing
anyone
things.
who's watched the Doctor Who episode Robot, that was a better designed robot than Box was.
Was that an old rescue thing?
It was classic, Fourth Doctor.
Okay.
Actually, the Fourth Doctor's first serial.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So,
aside from Honey Nut Cheerios. But
anyway.
Yeah, so Box keeps going on about how awesome seafood is and how...
He just kept talking about protein, and it wouldn't have bugged me except that A, he said it so many times, and B, I was already bored, and all you can mention is protein.
And then eventually he says, well, I froze that no more seafood comes through here, so I've just been freezing all the people who come through here and keeping them in storage here for when they need more food. Except that I decided to strip them naked first, and so we can include some more nudity in the movie.
Yeah. And then he's like, and now I'll get you, and he suddenly has these guns, and you're like, where were those guns a moment ago?
And then Logan shows he's capable of really, really easily overpowering Box.
Yeah.
So what is even the hell?
How did Box get everybody prior? I don't know. Why does Box talk to people before he freezes them? I don't know. You think it'd just be like, bzzz, like, don't even talk. Why does he have the ability to talk? I don't know. He's a refrigerator robot. That's what he does. He refrigerates things with a gun. He is like Mr. Freeze, but not cool.
And then like Logan's other Sandman friend busts in, and the ceiling starts collapsing in a really,
God, that
it was
so
like
bad.
The worst, most fake cave-in stuff ever.
I mean,
it looked like someone drew Looney Tunes cartoons over this.
I know this is an old movie, but like there was a cave-in at the beginning of Superman, because Krypton's blowing up, and that looked cool.
Yeah.
You know? And by the way, we talked about Superman being kind of slow in its own way, but it made sense the way they did it, you know?
Yes.
It was a little too slow for us, but it was okay. This was just like, what is going on in this movie?
We didn't know what... Okay, so yeah.
Then they get outside. It's obvious the place is supposed to... Oh, then they have more nudity when they do skinny dipping.
Yeah, and then they eventually find Washington, D.C., which is surprisingly intact, given that the opening crawl said... there was a nuclear war or something.
And you know something? This finding the outside and finding it ruined would be a lot more dramatic if the opening crawl hadn't spoiled it for us. Yeah. Like, you knew it was ruined. Like, there it is. That's what I thought.
It didn't really look ruined. It looked more abandoned than anything else. There wasn't really, destroyed buildings.
Not much, no.
It just looked overgrown.
Yeah.
And you'd think that this would be a prime nuclear strike target because it's the capital of the United States of America.
Maybe it was, biological warfare or something. I don't know.
For what? Making crazy people and cats?
Maybe.
Because that's what we meet next. We meet a nameless guy... and a shitload of cats that he lives with.
And he goes on about this for a while. They all have 3 names, and we're staring at the TV like, is there a plot to this movie, or what?
Oh, the first 2 names, one's the normal name, the second name's a fancy name, but the third name, no amount of research can discover it, only the cat knows it. And I just went okay, so there's been a nuclear war, all of humanity consists of these bimbos in the city, and this idiot... and they focused on research on determining what cats' names are. Yep, that seems like a good use of the R&D budget.
I'm pretty sure he made that up in his head.
Yeah, I know. I still like the idea of people being so stupid.
You could be funny about that too, of the name thing or whatever. If it happened a little faster on screen.
But it was
we had to wait.
there is a third name. And you'll never guess what the third name is. And then he waits and he asks, do you want to guess what the third name is? And they say,
just sitting
nope.
there like...
Well, the third name is the most important one. It is the most sacred and unknown. Only the cats know the third name. So you see, that's why the cats have 3 names.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that right, Henry? He says as he's petting this cat. We don't care. Shoot the old bastard and eat him.
I could get it if they like get it. You know what? You imagine. Well, all right. Spoiler it for Planet of the Apes. If you haven't seen that, go see it. It's on Netflix. Last I checked. But imagine if he got to damn you all to hell at the end. And then there was another hour of movie of him just wandering around and being like, "Yup, it's definitely destroyed." And you're like, "No, we've got. You could get. They could go out. No, it's all been ruined." And they sort of freak out and whatever. And it could last 5 minutes. And if they want to go back, you can still do that Flatland too. But you don't need to spend this much time. I get that they're doing this culture clash thing. They don't know what it means to be buried. They don't know what husband means. They don't know what wife means. But man, is nothing else going on when they're talking about this stuff.
Dude,
I don't know what their goal is.
Avatar. James Cameron's Wait, James Cameron?
Cameron was a good one.
What?
You're talking about the crappy movie or the
Well,
Blue
I know,
People
but there's
movie?
also a prime minister that was named Cameron, and I'm trying to remember if James
Pretty
Cameron.
sure.
Cameron's Avatar. They actually did this right. They had like culture clashes, like them explaining, "Oh, yes, this is how things go for us. This is how things go for us." You know, granted there were a whole bunch of flaws in the movie. Many flaws. Like, for example, a properly outfitted military force would not have been overtaken by fucking animals and Indians.
Hey, man, the Space Indians. I like that movie. It wasn't
Look,
amazing.
it was
good.
okay. You know, it just had a bunch of flaws.
All right, anyway.
But yeah, they handled the culture shock way better there.
Yeah, and you got this sense of stuff happening and people having goals. Once we're in this desolate world, I'm like, okay, so what are we doing out here? His buddy, his Sandman buddy shows up and tries to kill him. And I said to Matt, as the fight is going on, first off, yeah, it's a fight, something's happening. But secondly, this would be a lot more entertaining if Logan had something to live for. Because as far as I can tell, he either gets stabbed to death right now, or he slowly starves to death in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. I mean, I guess he wouldn't
had any motivation for Logan at all.
Yeah, if we'd seen him struggling and we identify with him,
or we had a reason for him to give a crap.
Yeah.
Other than I don't want to die. Yeah, good. Yeah. That's nice. Care to expand upon that? Why don't you want to die?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Generally, characters should have more reason for doing things than basic animal instinct.
I mean, yeah. The idea of I don't want to die can be a powerful motivator in the right, writing and so forth. But we didn't connect with him. So then they decided to go back. We're gonna go back. For some reason, we're not gonna take the box route, which we know is a thing. Did they even use that Ankh twice? Remember that thing said, like, put the thing in,
yeah,
you
they
will
used
need
it
it
twice.
again? I didn't even see it. Who built that? All right, whatever.
Okay, so they instead decided to dive through a hydroelectric plant, which they somehow know about, and are operating under the assumption that it won't chop them to bits with the massive turbine.
Right, yeah. That's weird. And then they get in, and there's a scene, and you could tell it's supposed to be all climactic as he's screaming to the people, "No, it's all a lie!" And it's like, Soylent Green is people and crap. And I can get the drama of like, oh, they all laugh at him and they don't see the truth. That could be the ending, really. And then he failed, and it was a downer ending.
And I just said to Sonic as that scene played, "No, my plan of being dressed like a hobo and screaming insanely failed. How could it fail?"
Well, I get the feeling was that he didn't seem to consider any other options. Like, hey, let's go talk to those people with the spears privately and explain things to them for
assuming they
hours.
weren't all murdered.
That's true. That wasn't. But still, like, sneak around a little bit,
or maybe try to hack the computer. Maybe like break into the PDA and say, "Hey guys, guess what? You're living a lie."
It was just there was no sense of I didn't see that he needed to act like everything was so urgent all of a sudden.
Okay, granted, people were dying every day, but...
But he wasn't even yelling at the people who were dying. Those people were, like, brought in through a separate entrance. He's yelling at all the people who are watching the execution, which doesn't seem very urgent for them to stop watching! If you don't look at it, it doesn't happen! It's like a reverse fairy thing, if you... I don't know.
Oh, and then they take him in for interrogation. But they don't interrogate him. They make, like, 5 little spinning versions of his head that all
I get the idea
repeat
of, like,
the same idea over and over again.
They were trying to do something with, like, it's a mind-reading thing, and it's really creepy, but, yeah, all right.
Okay, so they bring him in, and these 5 spinning versions of his head, all of them are screaming at the same time various things. And the computer's like, tell me where Sanctuary is. Sanctuary doesn't exist. Tell me where Sanctuary is. Sanctuary doesn't exist. Okay, what did you see out there? We saw an old man. None of this computes. And the computer starts exploding and melting down for no reason other than that it doesn't like his fucking answer. Okay, now a human, I could see this happening. Computers, not so much.
Well, humans don't explode either, but yeah, and they can
go
nuts. Well,
they go nuts and say,
I could imagine
no, tell me where the rebel base is. There is no rebel base. It's all in your imagination. No, tell me where the rebel base is. Yeah, but
if there was like a religious fanatic thing, yeah, I could see that.
Okay, that could work. But a computer generally isn't. Computers generally aren't known for saying, yeah, this data doesn't fit into my preconceived notions. Because that's not how computers work. They take in all data and they don't reject the data.
Yeah, I mean, well, if the computer is so certain of Sanctuary, why does he have to go find it, I guess?
Why not send like a... I mean, you're in the future. You should have like hover cars and,
they're all
guns.
in the dome, but yeah.
Well, yeah, send some stuff outside the dome and bomb the hell out of whatever isn't you. If you're that eger to destroy Sanctuary.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting, because the computer says to him, you've been given access to break the seals. I guess the idea that's just permission, as opposed to we actually know where the seals are and how to break them.
Yeah, but if the computer is still running things, then do this up Matrix style. The Matrix is actually a better version of Logan's Run than Logan's Run is.
Yeah, you remember that when at the beginning and Neo realizes he's being chased by agents and he has to like get the frick away and eventually gets captured. But there was a series of urgency to that, sense of urgency.
Something that was missing throughout all of fucking Logan's fucking run.
Yeah. And then it not only blows up the computer, it blows up like everything.
Yeah, so because apparently the computer had C4 everywhere for some reason. And then everyone leaves the dome, even though only one...
Apparently they know how. Like, where did you guys find the door? Like, did the computer not know of this previously? Just send a guy out through the door, wherever it is?
And it was why did everyone leave? It only looked like one building was damaged.
Yeah,
why? Oh no, flee the dome, because despite the fact that this is supposed to be ecologically perfect, one building on fire means we're doomed.
And then no one's upset that their whole society has collapsed. They're all like, no, guys, it's cool. We found an old man. Everyone touch the old man.
Okay, here's another thing. Everyone in the society is going to die in a few days because no one knows how to survive outside of their perfect pleasure-oriented society.
Yeah.
And the old man's A, crazy, and B, going to die in like a few weeks anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was very vague what they're gonna do next and how anything is gonna work for anybody, and any of that. I don't know. And then it just ended, and we were like, "Yay, it's over!"
Thank God. And then we said
they put box on this DVD cover.
Why would you do that? That was a stupid part of the movie.
Everything.
It was dumb. Just really, really dumb.
Yeah.
It had no point. You could have cut the entire box scene out of the movie, and you would have lost nothing.
I mean, I get the idea of it. The idea is like, oh, this must be the guy who's like in charge of Sanctuary. Isn't this great? And then shock and horror, he's actually not our friend.
He's just a stupid robot that talks about protein and seafood.
Yeah.
If that was the final boss, maybe if he was running the city. Sure, I could see that.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if it was all like a freaking gauntlet thing and this robot's just having fun with people. You know? He wants to see who gets out just so he can, like, shoot them, you know? I said to him during the movie, this would be a great fodder for a remake. Because there's some good basic ideas, but man, just fix everything we just talked about. and change the ending and all this stuff, and it could be good. Maybe they did remake. I don't know. This is this is clearly the original right here.
Yeah.
I presume the book was better. I don't know.
There was apparently a book.
Yeah. That's about it.
I'd say skip.
Yeah.
Unless you like really, really, really long, boring movies.
I don't know.
But anyway, I guess that's everything. Yep. So I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
We're signing off.